Hey guys, Break here, and welcome back to the next episode in my Top 5 WoW YouTubers series, and today we're talking about class guides. Now this one's a bit of a tough one, as there are so many different people doing different class guides, and how do I choose simply 5? Well, what I've done is I've chosen sort of 5 kind of general ones, but each general one does specialise, or at least a lot of them do specialise. So that's how we're going to do this, and we're going to start off with Mad Skills TV. He does all sorts of class guides, but generally he does it on healers. Now, as you can probably tell looking at his general videos, and this is just from the past 3 weeks by the way guys, this guy generally does a video a day, or at least a video every couple of days. He loves to pump out the videos. His channel's growing really quickly, so make sure you check him out. And yeah, he's main resto druid, but also plays all the other healers, and also knows a lot about a lot of other classes because he's big into Mythic Plus and big into raiding. I think he's on Avatar, or maybe on Mythic Kill Jaden now. I'm not certain, but he knows his stuff and he definitely knows how to do a good guide. So I found this guy because I play Resto Druid. I wanted to find a good Resto Druid, and it's absolutely awesome. The stuff he does goes into so much detail about very specific things. As you can probably tell, both in terms of dungeons and raiding, but more recently he has been expanding out sensibly. So okay, doing sort of general guides, but also doing other healers, plays Paladin and Priest as his kind of other classes. Well, I definitely know he plays Paladin. He knows a lot about all the other healers anyway. He often ranks trinkets, he ranks talents, bits of gear, for lots and lots of different healers, and then it'll also go into other stuff. Look, here we go. Does a balanced druid versus feral DPS guide. 7.3 best classes, so he was looking at the Mythic Dungeon Invitational and seeing who performed best. Here he's looking at the new trinkets that are coming in 7.3 and how they're going to work for each of the different sort of roles, DPS, healers, tanks. And yeah, his videos generally consist of him with some sort of background of him raiding, and then he'll just go over. They're all very professional, as you can see. Everything looks really good. This guy's going to be very big, I'm sure. Channel only recently just started and is already getting up in the sub counts, and yeah, it's so useful. So if you're a healer in particular, I suggest you follow this guy. If you're in a resto druid, you have to follow this guy. But if you're any sort of guy interested in raiding, interested in Mythic Plus in particular, this guy knows what's up, and he will give you really good information. He's quite funny. He streams a lot, streams on YouTube, so he's easy to follow live and ask him questions. And yeah, definitely give this guy a watch. Next up we have the Accolon. Now this guy is generally DPS in terms of his guides. He does a lot of DPS guides, particularly on Warlocks, which is his main. But he also does warriors, feral druids, a load of other stuff. And again, his channel's rather new and he's been growing rapidly. Started expanding into a couple of other games and a couple of general videos as well. You guys know with YouTube at the moment, you kind of have to expand to try and get more viewers in. But yeah, he's been growing really well and he does some really good guides. He definitely started off doing the sort of Warlock guides, talks so much about Warlock stuff, what are the problems with them, what they're doing, but he really talks about anything that he wants. He's got quite a controversial sort of character. He says exactly what he thinks and he doesn't really care what anyone else thinks about it. But yeah, he's a really good Warlock and a really good sort of DPS player in general. But yeah, this is an example of him on YouTube. He does stream on YouTube a lot, just like Mad Skills. A lot of the new YouTubers seem to do streaming on YouTube rather than Twitch. Maybe I should try that. Don't know if it would work better. But yeah, this guy's very funny. I have been subbed to him since he had about 1,000 subs, and I do watch all his videos. I even watch his class guides, even though I don't play any of the specs he usually does guides on, because I'm a healer really. I'm not really a DPS, but he does do feral druid, and as I play a druid I thought maybe I should try and learn it, and he does explain things very well. He's got a simple way of explaining things, and like I say, very engaging, very funny guy. Definitely check him out if you're interested. Next up we have Marilyn. Now this guy I haven't been subbed to for very long, but from what I've seen he does some really great content, especially general guides, and he does long guides as well. He doesn't just do the very short sort of guides like the ones I've been trying to do on my channel. He goes into depth, into detail on every single spec. He doesn't just concentrate on a few. He'll do ranged, he'll do melee, he'll do even tanks as well, and likes his Mythic Plus, loves to show you a couple of tips and tricks, and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I do really like the detail he will go into on each of the videos. He's got a really calming voice as well. You need to hear his voice. It's very. If you like my voice, you'll definitely like his voice. Let's say that. He goes into a lot of detail on talents, on the different sort of passives each spec gets, and the mastery and how you can best make use of it. Basically, he's very good at explaining things. It's basically an Icy Veins, but on YouTube, is what it is. So if you're interested in something like that for your spec, then check him out, see if he's done a video on it, and if he has, then you're in the business. Next up, we have Final Boss. Now, I think I already included this in my top 5 WoW podcasts, I believe, but I have to include this again because this is the ultimate sort of area for your spec. Now, Bay, the guy does it, goes through every single spec in the game. During alpha/beta, he does it at least twice, looking at what's new, what's wrong with it, how Blizzard can change it, and I'm pretty sure Blizzard actually listened to him because he knows his stuff. He's a Mythic Raider. I'm pretty sure he's killed Mythic. I don't know if he's killed Jaden, but it'll be very close anyway. I mean, he did a video a week ago with Fallen Avatar, so maybe not quite yet, but he's very much up there. He does a lot of vlogs. He goes to all the different Gamescons, always at BlizzCon. Like I say, he does the method. He interviews the raid that kills gets the world first every tier. Those are really intriguing, but what I'm talking about here is his guides on each spec, because he doesn't just do it in the alpha beta. He'll also do it at least once, potentially twice, I think, during the expansion. I mean, he obviously has to go through 36 specs or however many there are in the game, but he does an over 2-hour video on every single one. Over 2 hours, which is kind of crazy. And not only does he know a lot about the game, but he actually gets on people who know a lot about their class. Like, he'll get on the top Mythic Raiders of that spec, the people who run the class discords, the people who make their own websites about that spec, and he'll get either 2 or 3 of them every time, and he'll interview them. He'll get all their sort of tricks on how to cheese certain mechanics, how to perform best in certain fights, obviously all the right talents, the right sort of rotation to do. And yeah, they're very, very professionally well done. I watch all of them, even though I don't play any of the spec. Well, I only play literally 1 spec, or 2 specs, which is Balance and Resto. But I watch every single one of these videos because they're really nice to have on in the background, because they're so long just talking about WoW. But also I get to learn a lot about different specs, stuff I might want to play. And yeah, he gets in some really intelligent people who are going to help you get a lot better at your class, a lot better at your spec. And he is a very funny guy. I really enjoy watching him. If you're a Patreon, if you become a patron of his, you also get to see another 2 hours of like pre-show, or another hour at least. So you don't just get 2 hours of every spec, I think you get like 3 hours. That's just extra stuff, but either way, such good content and very, very detailed for those of you who want to learn a little bit more about your spec. Even if you're a Mythic Raider, you probably will learn something from these guys, because he does get the best of the best often on his show, and it's definitely worth a watch. Finally, I don't usually do the absolute big YouTubers, because I think everyone knows about them. There's not much point doing them. But I will use Preach for this. I know Belular's been doing sort of spec/class guides as well, but they're pretty general. Preach does go into more sort of specific aspects. He's recently been doing the TDP, Daily Preach, where he just plays a Mythic Plus pug with one of the specs, and you'll see the kind of stuff he's doing. It's kind of like a live playthrough, and he'll talk about what he's doing, etc. And he'll also talk about random stuff, so it is very entertaining. But he also does do specific spec guides. I don't know if he finished them all, but he was definitely at least halfway through making the spec guides for every single class. He's always done that on his channel, and he did continue that in Legion. So if you do want a good sort of 20 to 30 minute overview of your spec, then this is a great guide to go to. I know a lot of people do complain on some of his videos saying, oh, you got this one wrong, you got that one wrong, but he generally aims his videos towards the kind of new players, not to the advanced players. And if you have never played a spec before, or if you're just not that great at it, if you want to become sort of heroic or mythic raider, then some of his tips and advice might go a long way. I will also say, since I've talked about people who specialise in DPS, such as the Accolon, people who specialise in healers, such as Mad Skills, this guy does specialise particularly in tanks. He often mains tanks, not this expansion, but he often does. And earlier this expansion, if you go back a few months ago in his videos, he did this whole series on tanking, like how to start tanking, how to get into tanking like Pug, how to tank Mythic Plus, how to tank raids. He covered everything from the basics, so if you do want to learn how to tank in a kind of casual way, but also from a guy who really knows what he's talking about, then this is the guy to go to. This isn't even one of his tanking videos, this is one of his specific Guardian Druid videos. But like I say, he did do a whole series on the tanking. He knows a lot about it, he is a good tank. You know, he's been in Method before and all that good stuff. So I'm sure most of you are sub to him, but maybe you just watch him for his drama time or his sort of general videos. But he does do great spec videos, class guides, and especially for tanking, you should go and watch those. But that is going to be about it, guys. If you know anyone else who does good class guides I might have missed, I know there are a lot of people and I only do 5, so I'm bound to miss some. Please do let me know in the comment section below, and until next time, see ya.